Polygon.
All-time high.
Right, guys, today we are going to be taking a cheeky look at Polygon, formerly known as 𝗕𝗪𝗃. We'll be taking a look at 𝗕𝗪𝗃 and Polygon network on the daily chart, the 4-hourly chart, and that hourly chart to see exactly what has been going on here with the 𝗕𝗪𝗃 price action. It's been a pretty big roller coaster of a ride, Chris, over the last sort of 48 hours, where 𝗕𝗪𝗃 has shot up from a range of around $1 level all the way up to a high today of over $1.80. So some fantastic gains have been made, and we're going to get into seeing exactly what is going on here with 𝗕𝗪𝗃 and whether a correction is going to be due anytime soon or whether this is going to continue to the upside for a little bit longer. Chris, anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, love this project, been invested in it a long time, and it's remarkable but expected price discovery in my opinion. Again, I put 𝗕𝗪𝗃 or Polygon, however we want to frame it these days, next to the likes of Anchor, next to VeChain, next to OneHarmony, and various other projects that we talk about in this space, with the expectations that we've had for price discovery. Again, we were investing in this before we set up the channel. We didn't really talk about this one so much, just purely because it wasn't really getting the views back then. But now everybody wants a piece of the pie or a piece of the action. So yeah, Nick, let's get into it. Love this. Let us know what you think. Are you invested in 𝗕𝗪𝗃 or Polygon? Really interested to see what your views and opinions are. Where do you think we're heading price discovery wise for 2021?
Fantastic. Guys, if you find this video useful, informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And if by chance you've stumbled across us and you're not yet subscribed and you'd like to stay up to date with all of those new cryptocurrencies and hidden gems, then why not consider subscribing to the channel? By becoming a subscriber, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here. It is free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? Right, with that said, done and out of the way, Chris, let's jump on down to the charts and see exactly what is going on here with 𝗕𝗪𝗃.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, guys, this is a 𝗕𝗪𝗃 network to the USDT and daily chart with Binance being the data source. And here we can see the fantastic candles that we've recently had here for 𝗕𝗪𝗃 token. It has had a phenomenal ride and has seen some significant growth in the last 48 hours. What I'm going to do, guys, is just to give you a bit of a flavor as to how much. I'm going to throw on a bit of a price range from our low level here through to the high that was achieved today. That puts it an 81% move in 48 hours. I mean, I'm not sure, Chris, how many banks will allow you to earn 81% in gains in just 48 hours. So that was a pretty good investment had there if you were an early adopter of 𝗕𝗪𝗃. And obviously, you can zoom right out on this chart and you can see the gains that would have been made all the way back down here. So some pretty good stuff would have been happening if you're an early adopter of this particular blockchain. Now, in terms of where it is right now, it has actually taken out that third level of our Fibonacci retracement. Okay, and that actually came in up here at $1.87. So we've had a pretty good run, and it has obviously started to pull back here recently, but we have taken out that third price target. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next. We are currently only 24% away from the top extension level of our Fibonacci, coming in at $2.19. So some pretty good areas there for price discovery going forward with 𝗕𝗪𝗃 as well. So ultimately, let's just pull this right the way back down to the early stages of our Fibonacci, where we are probably going to have to readjust and reassess the situation and change the Fibonacci going forward. But right now, this particular level is running from the low price of the 30th of January through to the high that was the 11th of March. That was a 40-day run that saw 1,361% in gains. So some pretty good, juicy gains were made on that journey to the upside. Then we traded sideways for 44 days, just a little over the amount of time it took to actually move up 1,361%. We only had an extra 4 days of corrections before we had another move to the upside. We found good support on the 50 moving average as we powered on ahead to take out the first price target here of 85 cents. Since then, there was a correction down to 74 cents where good support was found, and then, well, the rest is kind of history as we continued the rocket ship all the way up past the second price target of $1.36, all the way up to our third price target, which was achieved today at $1.87. So some pretty good moves were made. But what is next for 𝗕𝗕𝗪? Well, in order to answer that question, let's pull this down and take a look at our 4-hourly chart. From our 4-hourly chart, we can see again exactly what's been happening here as we've been staging our way up towards that third price target. And we can see that actually we have a pretty decent wick now and a good body on this 4-hourly chart. We can see that we are overbought on our relative strength index, so that RSI is showing us a range of about 75. So we are overbought, but there is a little bit more room to grow if the hourly chart will allow that to happen. Otherwise, we will start to have that correction, which I think is what we're kind of seeing here on this chart right now. We can see that the 100 and 200 moving averages are actually way below the current pricing, so we are way above average here for a 𝗕𝗕𝗪 token. And we obviously do need to bring those averages right back up so that we can find good support if that time does come. Looking at support lines on here, we can just grab our horizontal ray and say that ultimately we could see a pullback towards one of these other levels, such as a $1.63, for example. But hopefully on the hourly, it will give us a bit more of an indication as to what might be in store here for 𝗕𝗕𝗪. So right now, it does look like it's getting a pullback. It is overbought on the RSI, and the volumes are also starting to decrease. And not sure if you can just move that out of the way. You can see that the volumes are starting to decrease here, but they are still significant volumes. And there is a bit of a macro picture here that actually appears to be more of an increase in volume. Is that increase in volume going to continue, or is the larger macro piece here where it's starting to decrease is actually, starting to become invalid, and we should start to see a significant growth with the 𝗕𝗕𝗪 volume? I think ultimately, guys, we'll probably see a decrease in volume on a short term with an increase in the long term. So we'll have to see if that plays out. What I'm going to do is just pull this back down so we can get to see all those candles again and pull this into our 1-hourly chart. Here you can see exactly what was happening. So we are getting that pullback right now as we found the top at that third price target. So that third price target came in, and we're getting an immediate pullback, which is kind of to be expected when you have these huge milestones and these huge price swings, specifically 81% in such a short space of time. With that being said, we are pulling back and we seem to be looking for a good area of support. And we're just going to have a quick look to see if it's anywhere else other than $1.63. I think $1.63 seems to be a sensible location to find good support, but there's also the option to be around $1.70. So if we're going to correct anywhere, we'll be looking for one of those two areas there just to kind of find a good level of support for us. Now, ultimately, when we take a look at the relative strength index, that RSI, we can see that we are actually starting to correct back down. We are not overbought at the moment, which means that ultimately there's still room here to correct down a little way lower on that RSI and then have another swing to the upside with some significant volume, which would continue the growth on that daily and that 4-hourly chart. So there's still huge potential to continue this price rally for 𝗕𝗕𝗪, considering that the hourly chart is not in consensus with the daily chart or that of the 4-hourly chart. Both the hourly and the the hourly is obviously very different to what the 4-hourly and the daily chart are showing us. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I think we do expect a bit of a correction to pull that down. Most likely, in my opinion, I think we'll probably find support at $1.63. And if we're lucky, we might consolidate around $1.70. Okay, so we're going to be watching that space quite closely here for Matic in the next kind of 24 hours. That will correct the hourly relative strength index, and that will then allow us to continue a rally to the upside if the sentiment in the market stays in a very bullish sentiment that it is currently. So when it comes to Matic here, it is looking very interesting. Let's go ahead and pull this back up into our daily and just review, what's going on here in a little bit more detail. So ultimately, we're about 20 or so % away from our top extension level, the $2.19 area. And ultimately, if that comes in, that'll be a very good position for Matic. But I think ultimately, we need to find the next top. Where is the next significant growth or next significant correction coming in? And then we can set a new Fibonacci for Matic here and see exactly what's on the cards, right? So we have this correction here, and we could use it from the low here to that high there, and that again would show us another place to potentially see some new targets for Matic. But for now, I want to see that top come in. I want to find where the next correction is due. Once we have that next correction, or once we place the Fibonacci retracement upon that and see where the corrections are taking us, are we going down to a 618 Fibonacci level, or are we going down to the 50% retracements, or are we going down to that 382 area? So really interesting to see how that plays out in the coming kind of days and weeks. But right now, things for Matic is looking very, very good. I think we're going to have a short-term pullback and then potentially continue this rally to the upside when it comes to Matic here. So Chris, those are the technicals here for Matic on today's chart, which is fantastic. But is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, just really love this project, and it's great to see it breaking out. I mean, I expect other projects that do similar, things or have a similar use case in this space do very well, just like we're seeing for Matic, particularly Harmony One. Not that I want to detract away from the wonderful things that Matic are doing. We're invested in an awful lot of projects, Nick. I think it's 29 projects in this space. Check those out on our website. There's a couple that we've recently added. I think we probably need to update the website. One of those being Silo. And the other one being DSLA. So check those projects out, guys. We quite often pick projects that are about a cent or below, and then we watch them blow up over time, and we expect both of those to also do remarkably well like these. So I just want to call this out. All those haters out there that keep saying we don't get things right, you should take a look at my portfolio.
Absolutely.
It states something completely different.
So guys, hopefully you found this update on Matic useful and informative. If you have, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you would like to stay up to date with all those new cryptocurrencies, those hidden gems, the technical analysis and news, then do subscribe to the channel. By becoming a subscriber, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything. It is free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? With that said, done and out of the way, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, take care.